All right, turning now to the latest on Ukraine, which is dealing with another wave of Russian strikes, a barrage of missiles fired at different regions, according to Ukrainian officials. And among the cities targeted was the capital of Kyiv. That's where we find NBC News foreign correspondent Matt Bradley. Matt, good morning to you. So what's the situation like right now where you are, and what do we know about damage or injuries there?
Yeah, well, I'm standing in one of actually a public park in the middle of a residential neighborhood. This is where kids play, and right behind me was where a lot of the debris fell. And when I say debris, I don't mean an actual missile. Now, there was, something like 69 missiles fired all across the country today. A lot of them, most of them, 54 of them were actually intercepted. So when I talk about debris, I'm talking about the missile fired by the Russians was hit by a Ukrainian anti-aircraft system. And all of that has to go somewhere. Some of it landed right here, right behind me. It's already gone. The officials came here, they picked it up, but take a look over here, Stephen. This is very much a park. Children play here. And actually, kind of ironically, if you can see this behind me, they call this Rocket Park. This is because of that shape there. But, this is a place, we talked to some people around here. There's kids here. And they were saying they were lucky that it didn't hit an actual residential building. But if you can imagine, if some of that falling debris struck here during daylight hours when kids were playing here, it would have been a nightmare for the parents. And I talked with one man, and he said, he's been taking it kind of lax when it comes to going to the bomb shelters. And now, he said this morning, he really learned his lesson now. From now on, he's going to be hustling down to the bomb shelters.
So concerning to see that playground behind you talking about all this debris. There have also been reports of explosions across the country. So do we know what's going on outside of Kyiv, and how are Ukraine's air defenses handling these strikes?
Yeah, well, the whole country was impacted. And, I got to tell you, Stephen, this is something that a lot of folks here were waiting for, the other foot to drop, because this has been quite a while, about 2 weeks, maybe more, since the last really comprehensive Russian attack nationwide. Here in Kyiv, and again, Stephen, all of this has been, for the most part, targeting electricity infrastructure. Vladimir Putin has really been quite explicit about his intentions and his targets. They want to basically turn the lights out for Ukrainians, sap their will by keeping them in the dark, quite literally. And so that's why here in Kyiv, as a result of the bombardment today, 40% of households are without electricity. In Lviv, to the east, it's something like 90%. So even though the Ukrainians have managed to shoot down a lot of these Russian missiles, they've been very devastatingly effective in turning out the lights.
So many power outages. And Matt, this attack comes after Moscow rejected President Zelensky's 10-point peace plan, which he had been promoting to different world leaders. What did that include? And do we know why the Kremlin just decided to dismiss it entirely?
Well, we know exactly why the Kremlin dismissed it, because it would essentially roll back and even push back further their goals for their special military operation. The 10-point peace plan, among other things, it was that, the Russians would surrender all of the territory that they had taken, not just now in 2020 at the beginning of the fight, but all the way back to 2014. That includes most of the Donbass region and Crimea. And then they also would be submitting themselves to essentially war crimes trials, that they would be allowing themselves to be investigated and arrested. These are this was sort of, from the Zelensky's point of view, justice, retribution, but from the Russians, kind of a pie-in-the-sky request.
Pie-in-the-sky request, peace plan, much needed, much sought after. We'll see if another one is able to hold. Matt Bradley, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.